Back again on the Sports Zone. I am Mike Aglialoro. Again, thanks to everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, Mike Ags 121. If you haven't done so, please do so right under the video. Like the video if you do like the video. And once again, if you do like this, check out the website, thisissportszone.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at WeAreSportsZone. So we're continuing the 2014 fantasy football preview. We are talking about draft strategies as you approach a 14-team or larger fantasy league. We've looked at the first 3 rounds implementing a running back heavy strategy with the hope that you can get the high-powered wide receivers and quarterbacks later in the draft, simply due to the depth at the wide receiver quarterback positions and the dearth of late round talent available at the running back position. The first 3 rounds of my 14-team fantasy draft have left us with DeMarco Murray taken with the 10th pick in the first round, Le'Veon Bell of the Pittsburgh Steelers taken with the 19th pick in the second round, and Andre Ellington of the Arizona Cardinals in the third round with the 38th overall pick, passing on the top-tier talent at tight end, wide receiver, and quarterback in Jimmy Graham, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Demaryius Thomas, A.J. Green, Des Bryant, Julius Thomas, Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, and Victor Cruz at the 3 spots in which I took my first 3 players. Moving to the 4th round, with the 2 running back positions and the flex spot taking, it is now time to go wide receiver. And with the 47th overall pick in the draft, I wound up taking a player I ranked 10th overall when I did my top 20 wide receivers, and that was Keenan Allen of the San Diego Chargers. Now, we talk about some of the wide receivers I passed on to get a player I considered my 10th best wide receiver in fantasy football. With the 47th draft pick is a testament to the overall depth at the position and why I felt this strategy is capable of producing a quality team that can make it to the championship round in the first place. As much as Norv Turner is no longer the coordinator for the Chargers, I still look for him to surpass his rookie numbers. The only 1,000-yard receiving season out of any rookie last season being Allen's over 1,000-yard season last year. So I was very happy to get him with the 4th round pick. And I passed on the quarterbacks that went, which were Andrew Luck, Cam Newton, Colin Kaepernick. The only real running back was Toby Gerhart, Robert Griffin III, Vernon Davis at tight end, and the other wide receivers who I was high on and went were Michael Floyd and T.Y. Hilton. Now, moving to the 5th round, I took Cordell Patterson, who I also ranked in the top 20 at wide receiver, for his explosive playmaking ability and what I feel he's going to be able to do if Teddy Bridgewater does take the reins of the quarterback position, even though he hasn't looked too good in the preseason thus far. So I took Patterson there, passing on Jacque Bell at running back and Tony Romo of my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Number 6, we go back to running back with the 75th overall pick, and I took the rookie, Bishop Sankey of the Tennessee Titans. Why? Because he's going to have the opportunity there. He's been buried on the depth chart thus far, but he is unquestionably the most talented back the Titans have, with the other options, of course, being Sean Green, Dexter McCluster, and Jackie Battle. So it's only a matter of time before Sankey is given the number 1 workload in the Titans' backfield, and I took him as the 4th running back anyway, so you won't need him until the bye weeks approach for Andre Ellington, who has his bye week in week 4. So that would be the earliest I need him there. Moving to the 7th round, going back to the wide receiver position, DeAndre Hopkins of the Houston Texans, who we talked about during the sleeper preview last week at the wide receiver position. And we wound up passing on Greg Olsen at tight end. That's one of the drawbacks we will talk about later. And Tom Brady at quarterback. So a lot of the big names at quarterback you've seen come off the board here. And obviously, when you're talking about missing out on Greg Olsen at the tight end position, you have missed out on the top tier names at the position. But we didn't really talk about them in the first part here. Jimmy Graham, who was the top scoring fantasy tight end last season, had 263 fantasy points. Number 2 was Vernon Davis with 187 fantasy points over the season. Good enough over the course of 16 games to average 11 points per game. And number 10 at the position was Martellus Bennett of the Chicago Bears with 137 fantasy points over the course of the season. Good enough if you average it over 16 games to average over 8 points a game per season. So there is a lot of parity and a lot of similarities between the 2nd and the 10th score. And this is, of course, leaving out guys who didn't register last season, who are going early in fantasy drafts this year, in Rob Gronkowski, Jordan Reed, Zach Ertz, and Kyle Rudolph.